Okay. Um, okay. If one steals a lamb from the flock and returns it and it dies and is stolen, and he's responsible for it. If the owners were aware neither of the theft nor of its return, they could count the flock and it was complete. It is exempt. We may not purchase wolf, milk, or kids from shepherds, or no wood nor fruit from parchment or fruit, or we may purchase from the woolen garments in Judea, linen garments in Gilead, and calves in Sharon. But if any of them says that they must be kept hidden, it is prohibited. We must purchase eggs and fowl anywhere. Shreds of wool that the launderer pulls out belongs to him, but the wool comber pulls out belongs to the owner. The launderer may whirl out 3 threads, and they belong to him. If he pulls out more than that, they belong to the owner. Okay. Metzia.
All right.
Aleph, Aleph.
Aleph Aleph. Shnaim
If two,
Ochsid
per-
B'Talis.
if two
So,
persons are
This
holding a
is
dog.
me. This is me. My turn. Okay. We got two guys walking to Beis Din, both holding onto the talus. Now, this is important that they're both holding onto it, because if one of them is holding onto it and the other one is claiming that he owns a portion out of it, then he's got to bring proof because Hamotzi Mechavero alav haraya. Possession, as they say, possession is 9/10 of the law.
Right.
Okay. So it's important that they're both holding on to it. Zeomer ani matzasia says this one says I found it, and the other guy, and implicitly the other guy came and grabbed onto it after I picked it up. And the other one says has the same claim. Zeomer kula shali v'zeomer kula shali. Each one says this is mine, and the other one says no, this is mine. Okay, so since we have nothing to distinguish between the two of them, their claims are equal. Um, now we don't make them take a shvua that it's the whole thing because ultimately the settlement that we're going to reach is we're going to split it 50-50. So we don't want to make him take a shvua that the whole thing is his, um, because ultimately it's not going to be his. But each one takes a shvua that it's that he is that his share is no less than half. So because you're not going to say that make him take an oath that it is a half because he's claiming it that it's all. So you got to phrase it in such a way that his shavua is true, even if he only gets half of it, but he still thinks the whole thing is his. Okay, so each one swears that he has no less than half of it. And then they sell the garment and split the costs 50-50. They can actually physically split the garment if it's still useful as a garment once you cut it in half. But there's no point in cutting the thing in half if it's going to be you get the left side of the shirt and you get the right side of the shirt. Okay, so if we're talking about splitting the value. זה אומר כולה שלי וזה אומר חציה שלי. So the one guy comes to the Taina, I picked it up first and it's all mine. And the other guy's Taina is, no, 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 we picked it up at the same time. So he's saying effectively, חציה שלי, חציה שלו. Okay, so now what have we got is a situation where half of the garment is not under dispute. Even the second guy agrees that half of the garment belongs to the first guy. So what are they arguing about is the second half. And now
Right.
what we've got is a situation where two of them are grabbing onto the second half and each one is saying kula shili. The whole thing is mine. So now we take that second half and we split that in half. So Yishava Omer Kula Sheli, the one who claims the whole thing, Yishava she'ein lo pachos mishalosh chalakim. He must take an oath that he owns no less than 3/4 of it. Va'omer chetzia sheli Yishava she'ein lo pachos mirevia. So he must take an oath that he owns no less than a quarter of the garment. Zenotel shlosha chalakim v'zenotel revia, and it's split 75-25. Hayu shnayim rochvin al gabe behema. So you got two guys who are riding on an animal. Or shehaya echad rochev echad manhig. So now taking possession of an animal, you can take possession of it either by riding it or by pulling it. So both of them are in equal. So it's similar to the shnayim ochazin because both of them are demonstrating ownership of the animal. One is riding on it, one is pulling it. Zeh omer kula sheli, v'zeh omer kula sheli. Each one is claiming this animal is mine. So once again, just like the garment, um, they're going to split it 50-50, and they have to take an oath that each one has to take an oath that they have no less than a 50% share. בזמן שהם מודים או שיש להן עדים חולקים בלא שבועה. However, if they both agree about the circumstances, then there's no need for a shvua. Or even if you have adim who come and say what the facts are, then there's no need to induce a shvua. The adim are koveya what the reality is. Okay. Hayarochev al gabe behema v'ra'es Metzia. So Reuven's sitting on the back of the animal, and his friend is walking along next to him, and he sees a lost object, one of the types of lost objects that you're allowed to grab and not return. Okay, it's clearly a Yeush situation, or it's Hefker, whatever the fact is. There's something over there that he can grab for himself. Amar lechavero, and he says to his friend, Tanali, give it to me. Natzala, his friend, goes and picks it up and says, I'm sorry, ani zachiti ba. I like it. I'm going to keep it. Okay, so zachaba, yeah, that's fine. He doesn't have to do it for his friend. He can pick it up for himself. However, this is because he uses the lashon of Tanali. If he had used the lashon of Zakeli, pick it up on my behalf, and his friend agreed to do that, and then he picks it up and changes his mind, but he's already been mezakeh, so now he can't change. As soon as he picked it up, it became his friend's, so now he can't claim it's his. Okay, but so this is we're talking about here in our Mishnah about a situation where where he just says, give it to me. Okay. In Mishnah lo amar, however, if the guy picks it up, hands it over to his friend, and then he says, you know what, when I picked it up, I had in mind to grab it for myself. Sorry, doesn't count.
Right.
Prove it. Once again, possession is now in the hands of the guy on the donkey. So
Right.
so he's holding it, and you want to say it's yours. Sorry, you got to prove it. Okay. אני זכיתי בתחילה, לא אמר כלום. Okay. Let's go back to Bava Kama,
Okay.
and we're on Chesvav.
That's Vav.
Chesvav.
That's Vav. I took all my part. I took everything out yesterday. Guess Vav. Guess Vav. Come on, where are you?
Well, if it makes you feel any better, this morning I was Baal Tefillah, and and just after Yishtabach, so I say Kaddish, and I take 3 steps back, and the Rav says to me, Baruch Hu. Ah, right. Right, Baruch Hu. So it happens to the best of us.
Oh, okay. Guess Vav. I guess Vav. Okay. If one cuffs another, he must give him a seller. Rabbi Yehuda says in the name of Rabbi Yossi the Galilean, Amana. If he slaps him, he must give him 200 zuz with the back of his hand, and he must give him 400 zuz. If he pulls his ear, tears his hair, spits at him, and spittle reaches him, he removes his cloak and covers a woman's hair in the street, he must pay 400 zuz. This is the general rule. It all depends on his wealth. It says Rabbi Akiva, even the poorest of Jews are looked upon as though they were the sons of noblemen who lost their wealth, for they are the sons of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. There was an incident of one who uncovered a woman's hair in the street. She came before Rabbi Akiva, who said to him to give her 400 zuz. She said he to him, Rebbe, give me time. And he gave him time. And he waited for her until she saw her standing at the entrance of her courtyard, and then broke a jug which contained oil with an Isser in her presence. She uncovered her head and was scooping it up and placing it on her hand on her head. And he set up witnesses against her and came before Rabbi Akiva and said to him, Rabbi, this is the one I should give 400 zuz to. He said to him, you have said nothing, because if one wounds himself, although he may not, he is exempt. Yet if others wound him, they are liable. And if one cuts off his own shoots, that he may not, he is exempt. And if others cut off his shoots, they are liable. Although he pays him, he is not forgiven until he seeks forgiveness from him, as is said in Bereshit. But now return to the wife. Now, from where do we know that one who forgives should not be cruel? It says, and Abraham prayed to God, and God healed Abimelech. And one says, blind my eye, cut off my hand, break my leg, he is liable. On condition to be exempt, he is liable. Tear my clothes or break my jug, he is liable. On condition to be exempt, he is exempt. Do this to so-and-so on condition that you be exempt, and he is liable whether it is against his body or against his property. Okay. All right.
Another one. One more in Baba.
One more? I thought I
Yeah.
finished it.
No.
Now I gotta find where I am. Um,
Tes Aleph.
that's Olive. That's Olive? I
Tes.
guess so. Okay. All right. Here we go. If let's go. If one steals wool and makes it into utensils or wool and makes it into garments, he is paid at the time of the robbery. If one steals a pregnant cow and the calves, or you bearing wool and he shears it, he pays the value of the cow and the value ready to calve, or the value of the ewe ready to be shorn. If he steals a cow and one becomes impregnated while with him, and it calves, or you, and he comes laden with wool while with him, and the other shears it, and he shears it, he pays as if the time of the robbery. This is the general rule. All robbers pay as the time of the robbery. Okay.
Okay.
Let's figure that out. Over here.
All right. Kiddushin.
All right. Okay, we have base Gimel. Be betrothed to me on condition that I am a Kohen, and he was found to be a Levi, or a Levi, and he was found to be a Kohen, or a Nissanite, and he was found to be a Mamzer, or a Mamzer, and he was found to be a Nissanite, a townsman, and he was found to be a city dweller, or a city dweller, and he was found to be a townsman. On condition that my house is close to the bath house, and it was found to be distant, or distant, and it was found to be close. On condition that I have a daughter, or a slave who makes braids, and he does not. On condition that I do not have, and he has, on condition that I have no sons, or that he does have, or on condition that I have. And he does not, in all these cases, although he said, she had said, I intended to be betrothed to him, nonetheless, she is not betrothed. The same applies if she deceived him. If one says to his agent, go out and betroth so and so for me in such and such a place, and he went out and betrothed her to a different place, he is not betrothed. But if he said, she is such a place, and he betrothed her in a different place, she's betrothed. If one betrothed a woman on condition that she's not under any vows, and is found that she is under vows, she is not betrothed. If he married her without making any stipulations, and it's found that she is undevowed, she may be divorced without ketubah. If he betrothed her on condition that she has no bodily defects and just defects found upon her, she is not betrothed. If he married her without making any stipulations and bodily defects were found upon her, she may be divorced without ketubah. All bodily defects that disqualify Kohanim also disqualify women.
Okay.
Okay, Nara. If one who makes a net prohibiting what is cooked is permitted, what is roasted and what is overcooked. If he said, Kohen, cook food with respect to my tasting it, he is forbidden to taste soft food made in a pot, but is permitted to taste solids. He is permitted to taste soft-boiled eggs and a gourd baked in hot ashes. One who makes a net prohibiting something prepared in a pot is forbidden only to boil food. If he said, Kohen, what goes into a pot, with respect to my tasting it, he is forbidden whatever is cooked in the pot. If he prohibited to preserve food, he is forbidden only preserved vegetables. Prefers food with respect to my tasting. He is forbidden all preserved food. The seed food makes the prohibiting. Assorted hashed fish is forbidden hashed taras and prepared brine and fish juice. One who makes a net of prohibiting hashed taras is forbidden brine and fish juice. It's okay. I wouldn't want the fish juice anyway. Okay. Was that it? That was it. One more? No.
No, that's it.
Right. Okay. Pesachim. Okay. Base. Chametz of a Gentile over Pesach, which is passed deriving benefit from it is permitted, but chametz of a Jew deriving benefit from it is forbidden, since it is said, nor shall leaven be seen with you. If a Gentile lent money to a Jew on his chametz, then after Pesach deriving benefit from it is permitted. But if a Jew lent money to a Gentile on his chametz, then after Pesach deriving benefit from it is forbidden. If a ruin collapsed of a chametz is regarded as removed, Rav Gamliel said, provided a dog cannot search it out. One who eats truma of chametz on Pesach inadvertently may repay a Kohen the principal of fifth plus a fifth. If he eats it deliberately, he is free from payment and from liability, for it has value as fuel. These are the species of grain.
That's it. We're done. Yeah, that's three.
Okay.
Yeah, neither.
Um, Rav Ches. Every growth that is subject to a beer is subject to sevias, but there could be a growth that is subject to vias, but not as subject to hip bear. Every fish that has scales has fins, but there can be a fish that has fins but not scales. Every animal that has horns has split hooves, but there can be an animal that has split hooves and does not have horns. Everything that requires a blessing after it requires a blessing before it, but there can be something that requires a blessing before it, but does not require a blessing after it.
Okay. And Bechoros.
If a Bachor was pursuing him and he kicked it and inflicted a blemish upon it, he may slaughter on account of it. For all blemishes that can be inflicted by man, shepherds who are Yisraelim are believed, but shepherds who are Kohanim are not believed. Rabbi Shimon Megamel says he is believed concerning his friend's Bechor, but he is not believed concerning his own. Rabbi Meir says one who is suspected concerning a thing may either judge nor testify about it. If a Kohen is believed to say, I showed this Bechor to an expert in his blemish, all believed concerning the blemishes of the Masa offering, if a Bechor's eye was blinded and foreleg cut off or his hind leg broken, it may be slaughtered by the decision of 3 laymen. Rabbi Yossi says even if there are 23, they may not be slaughtered except by the decision of an expert. If one slaughters a Bechor and sells it, and it becomes known that he did not show it to an expert, what they ate, and he must return their money to them. And whatever meat they did not eat must be buried, and he must return the money to them. Similarly, if one slaughters a cow and sells it, and it becomes known that it was a treifa, what they ate, they may eat, and what they returned to them, and whatever meat they did not eat, would return, and to him they must return the money to them. If they sold it to non-Jews or gave it to dogs, they must pay him only the worth of a treifa.
Yeah, that's it. All right.
Okay, well,
Have a lovely day.
do enjoy.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.